This is the Maiden Takeoff, and I decided to do it with the aura turned off. I needed to add just a couple of clicks of down and a little bit of right aileron, and after that it was flying fine. Because it didn't need any trim changes, I decided to go ahead and start shooting landing approaches as I always do, especially when it's windy. I like to get the feel for how the plane handles at landing speeds and what it needs to land, in case I have a problem with the plane later on and need to get it back on the ground. We had a pretty stiff crosswind, so I decided to turn the aura back on. And that made flying it down to the ground lots easier. And this is the first actual landing. The Mamba's got a pretty good sink rate, but just a little bit of elevator flattens it out. You just hold it and it settles in very easily. The Mamba can be an animal in the air, but it lands like a puppy. I'm always careful to try and get the CG just as close as I can, and on an upline, it just continues on, so the CG looks fine. Here I try to stall to see how it would fall through, and it just dropped the nose down and didn't drop a wing at all. It was going so slow that even without a lot of elevator put into it, it started doing an elevator. I've never done an elevator by accident before. For the rest of the maiden flight, I decided to do some touch and goes, and here I touched kind of hard because I had the wind behind me. This is a takeoff for flight 2. I let it get up a little ways and tried my snap roll on takeoff. Found out it was a good thing I let it go up a ways because it happened fast. With the aura on this time, I decided to try another elevator, and it really does this easily. It was pretty gusty up there and I had to fight that a little bit, but it was easy to do really. And as you can see, the Mamba isn't hurting for power at all. This is something else I do with a new plane. I just shoot it up and then jam the sticks around and see what happens. The main thing I'm looking at is getting it in an odd position and see how it recovers, and the Mamba comes right out of it easily. Something I was really liking about the Mamba is that despite how violent it can be in the air, you can fly it around very smoothly and all in the same setting. The guys at Flex Innovations got the Aura 8 setup figured out. This is the setting that comes built into the R8 when you buy it, and I haven't touched nothing on that. I also did some touch and goes in Flight 2, and it's very predictable and easy to handle, even in the wind. I normally throw wheel pants away, but it looks like these just might survive. The wind was coming right across the runway, so I thought I'd try hanging this up in sort of a high alpha, just to see how slow it flew and what it felt like at lower speeds. There's some wing rock, but I'm pretty sure that's more me than it is the Mamba. And it has enough power that you wind up climbing when you don't really want to. That again is all me. I just have to learn the throttle control with this plane. You can tell that even in Flight 2 I'm starting to get more used to this plane because the snap rolls are getting a little lower on takeoff. I wouldn't have thought of the Mamba as a floater, but give it a little bit of headwind as it comes on a runway and it will float and just kind of cruise along right above the ground. And that makes me happy, so the snap rolls are a little bit lower again. This is early in Flight 3, and my comfort level is getting to where I tried my 1.5 roll snap roll that comes out of it inverted, and it likes that as well. As it's set up right now, it needs very little down an elevator to fly straight and level inverted. This is still Flight 3, and I'm really getting comfortable with the Mamba. And I'm even hitting those 1.5 rolls on takeoff. Despite the gusty winds, I still tried driving it around in sort of a high alpha just to see how steady it is and let me get a little more comfortable with that. I'm positive that with a few more days of flying on it, getting used to the Mamba, I'll be able to do this a lot better. I sort of faked the camera out when I started into this spin, but it comes out of it very easy. The Mamba seems to recover instantly no matter how I had it pointed or the position it was in. Flying knife edge to the left or right has virtually no coupling in it. Even with the winds beating it up, I was able to drive it around a little bit using the elevator to turn it. I like using rudder a lot, but not all planes or flight control systems react well to that. Mamba and the Aura 8 have no problems with the rudder at all. I can't remember liking any one plane this much on the first day. The Mamba's proven to be a great plane that loves the Aura 8, and it's a joy to fly. If you want to tear holes in the sky but land at a walk, you need to look at the Mamba 60.